Hello and welcome back, guys. It's been a while. I know I always say it's been a while since I did a One Piece video, but you know what? Well, it's time to get back. My university course has now finished. I have no more lectures. I only have my dissertation to do, which is due in September. And so basically that's the only thing, and obviously I've got my novel I'm working on still, but as of time, I have more time to film now, so that also means some more One Piece videos that I'm going to be doing. So I actually recently read the SkyPiea arc, so why don't we go ahead and discuss it.
Baby, why you call me? Do you feel alone? I know that you miss me, but you are so dumb. You know that I'm here, I'm here. Come when you want. You know I'll always pray for your little boy. I know, yeah. I know that you miss me. I know that you miss me. I know.
So the SkyPiea arc is the 13th story arc in the entirety of One Piece, and it goes from volume 26 to a little bit of 32. So this is the entire arc, and as you saw in that reading montage, I read the entire arc. So why don't we go ahead and talk about the overall plot, and then we can go into my thoughts and feelings. So the first 3 chapters, and they've made it into the SkyPiea. So as they enter these clouds, they see this giant monster, and then this guy suddenly comes and attacks, and then they're rescued by this guy who calls a knight who flies on a Pegasus, and he gives them a whistle and says, "Ring this if you ever need me, because it costs stottles." So I assume that's the currency of the world. So he goes off flying, and then as they're travelling, they come across this place called Heaven's Gate, and this lady is asking them they need to pay entry. She's like, you can go up, it's either a choice, but it is 7 billion X stottles. And they don't know what that is, so they're like, we haven't got any. So they enter SkyPiea, and entered illegally, so that's gonna not be good. Exploring SkyPiea and saying that the Gallon did come from 200 years ago, and then they found this girl and this man that says it's his father, and she keeps talking about a dial and using the word Hesso, and they don't know what Hesso means. Got a few characters introduced in the island of SkyPiea, so I think it's going to build a little bit on the culture. Things aren't going to look good for long, so the residents of SkyPiea have appeared, so let's carry on and see what happens. Well, hello. So it is the next day. I got roped into going to a party yesterday, so I didn't get a lot of chapters done. So I've read a couple of chapters this morning, and I'm still on volume 26. I am on chapter 244. So what's happened currently, they're exploring SkyPiea, and the police have arrived and declared that they've entered SkyPiea illegally, and Luffy beats the police up, and there's actually a place, like a sacred place with this god where they're not supposed to go, and Nami almost entered and she saw all these people. It's also where that guy that attacked them first place. Because they beat the police, Nami and the rest of the crew have been taken, so it's up to Luffy and Sanji to go down this place called the Milky Path to get them back. So we're gonna go ahead and read the last 3 chapters and get this volume finished. Okay, so I've just finished volume 26. So the crew of the Merry-Go have gone to this sacrificial altar, and Zoro has left. The ship needs repairs. Zoro, Nami and Robin have gone to go and see if there is a god, basically. Then Luffy, Sanji and Usopp have gone down the Milky Road, and it turns out the girl that they were with, Queeness, had actually called the Lobster Express to take the merry-go away, and she confesses, and apparently that's treason, but she's rescued by the Sky Knight, and he says consider this a favour. And so they end up down the Milky Road on her boat, and they have selected a trial of the ball, and this is where we meet one of the adversaries of the Kami. And he looks very powerful. So Luffy's tried to fight him and he's already been bounced back, and apparently it really damages the spinal cord. And the volume is ended where only 10% of people get out. So let's hope that they can manage to get out, because I will probably be starting volume 27 in a bit, so I will see you then. Been probably a couple of days, and I've been thinking about how I actually kind of want to start doing these videos again. I think I'm gonna go ahead and read volume 27, and I'm just gonna try, I think I want to try and just do something different within the style, so let's go ahead and start reading volume 27. So while the three, I want to call them the Three Musketeers, but anyway, are fighting Satori, they're having a really difficult time. Like, they are having a really difficult time, but they managed to defeat him by using his own power against him. So this whole reason, I want to just say, it happened because Nami saw something, so she kind of jetted off. And we also learn about, there's another group, so the Sky people are called the SkyPians, and there's also another race of people called the Shideans, and they've been fighting the Kami, who is currently Enal. They've been fighting him for a couple of years because they want the Upper Yard, which is their homeland, because they are descendants of the people that originally came from this land, and they've been basically kicked out. So meanwhile all this is going on, Nico comes up with the idea that this could be the lost city of gold. So if you remember in the previous arc, where one of the men was talking about how there was a lost island in the sky and his family member got killed for it. What's interesting is that this might be where the city is gold, and she ends up discovering it, ends up finding this lost city after she's got separated from the group. Nico Robin has gone to this gold city, and she's been looking for the poneglyph, and there's been a mention of this bell, like this really famous bell, but it's like she can't find it. And then she encounters Enel, who is actually the Kami, and the hunt has begun for all of the Straw Hat Pirates, because Enel is talking about wanting to destroy the entire SkyPiea archipelago, and yeah, just kill everyone and start anew, basically. So while all these fights are going on, like, we've got the Shindians who have come in, and I believe there's a girl, I can't remember her name, I believe she uses like a dial. So while we're in the SkyPiea, there's a use of what's called a dial, and that's how they can get really fast and things like that. Yeah, so she uses a milky dial, which she can use to like manipulate clouds, because obviously there's like a use of dials and things like in this world. So I believe briefly we got introduced to them in the beginning chapter. So while all this is going on, Enel has predicted that there's only going to be a certain amount of people left, and everybody falls. They're really struggling. Luffy has been eaten by a snake. He thinks he's in a cave, which is just very Luffy. And it turns out Nami is the only one to survive. So she kind of uses her wits and says, "Oh, I'll go with you." It's like Enel reveals this giant orc, like a skyboat, and they fly up. And Luffy manages to get out of the snake and sees everybody has been hurt, and goes to fight Enel. And it turns out, because Enel is like the god of, he can use lightning because of this fruit. He can use this devil fruit, so he ends up fighting him. And he does use his power on Luffy, and it turns out because Luffy is made of rubber, and obviously rubber doesn't conduct lightning, he turns out to be his enemy. Meanwhile, while he is fighting Enel, he is struggling. Enel is destroying the entire SkyPiea place, like it completely obliterating all the land. But meanwhile, we see this flashback with Cricket's ancestor and the original Shideans, because the island actually used to be in the blue sea before it ended up in the sky, and it's a bit of confrontation as like the two groups didn't get on, because obviously there was a bit of There was no cultural awareness, but they do help each other and become best friends essentially. We're learning this through the Shidean, like who is going to become chief, and that they wanted to ring the bell so that the cricket's ancestor would always come back. So Luffy ends up ringing the bell as he defeats Enel, falls down back to the upper yard. The upper yard is like the only place that exists really, because all of the SkyPians have evacuated, and as Luffy finally defeats Enel, everyone cheers, and the arc ends with like them having a big party and the pirates like getting some gold and getting a load of like little trinkets and things. So it's like, it was a nice end to the arc, and they end up going back to the Blue Sea obviously, and then there was a bit of mistake. So obviously there's a lot more going on from what I can remember, but that is a general summary. So in terms of my enjoyment of the arc, I don't know, it's one that I wasn't really into at first. I thought I would be a bit more excited about it, to be honest with you. But that wasn't really the case. I think I was just going through the motions reading it. It took me a while to get through. Like some of the other arcs I've been really interested, but I feel like it felt like a bit of a slog because there was a lot going on in it, and like yes, this does expand the world more, but I don't know, maybe my thoughts are still a bit with it, but I don't know, it's one of those where I'm a bit iffy with it, and like I'm definitely enjoying One Piece now. Like I've started watching the anime, I'm skipping the filler, I'm watching filler, I hate watching filler, so I'm currently on the art where Chopper comes in. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you next time. Bye.